Hello everyone, and welcome to another anime episode review. I am the Rat, and this is The Rat's Nest. I'm joined as always by Kyle. Say hi, Kyle.
I am so excited to continue the erectile dysfunction arc. How's everyone doing?
We are back with Mushoku Tensei Season 2, Episode 4, Letter of Invitation. Now, before we get started, Kyle, last episode was a little bit popular, so I wanted to extend a thank you and a welcome to everyone who's new and everyone who commented. It has been very fun this past week reading and reacting to all your comments and reading them to Kyle, so thank you all very much for that. That has been fun. It's good to have everyone around. So, the episode, Kyle, overall, what'd you feel? What'd you feel? Letter of invitation.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I feel the same way too. I'm happy to have heard all your guys' comments and see that everyone's enjoying the shenanigans we get up to. And so thank you guys. And for the episode itself, this is a pretty fun episode. I feel like I finally have a full, deep understanding of just like the MO of how the show operates. I understand more of like the jokes, the humor. It's kind of tangential to like talk about later, but just on the whole, it felt like this episode, just overall, it felt like in a way of like I'm finally starting to get like a hang of Mushoku Tensei.
This was an episode, I saw someone on Twitter say this, and I really agreed that this was a very Mushoku Tensei episode.
That's what I like. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
like
I absolutely agree with that.
It felt very in line with like what the series would do. It feels like it has a lot of serious, deeper topics that naturally gatekeep itself through like sex. The three-lettered word that people don't like hearing on X.
Me when I see a hot, mature, legal elfin woman getting railed and through a window.
There's certainly stuff to talk about there, yeah.
There is. So, would you like to... So, my quick thoughts. I loved it. I'm a Mushoku Tensei fan. I'm biased. Would you like to get right into it, Kyle?
Let's just get into it, because if I remember right, we start out with them. It's Rudeus and Soldat and like his little crew, his little guild or whatever, and they're out and they're not hunting the red dragon, right? They're trying to. Are they trying to hunt for the red dragon?
They were hunting the bears at first.
Okay, the bears.
Were charging towards
them.
Dispatch them without much issue, and then the funny red dragon shows up.
Well, because the one thing I want to say real quick is like, didn't they make mention of that red dragon before the fight with the bears? They said like, they knew it was in the area, right?
I don't think so.
Well, because Soldat berates him. It's like, why didn't you tell us about the dragon? And he's like, I couldn't see it from like the clouds or something.
Yeah,
I thought that
they didn't know about it
fair.
before the.
No, fair. I thought like for some reason I thought that there was like keeping an eye out. Anyway, yeah. They fight the bears. That was cool. And then the dragon showed up, and then Rudeus had a really pretty well animated, pretty awesome action scene.
Yeah, we see where the animation budget went. This episode was very well animated and all that, but it's the funny joke of there's the budget.
Yeah.
But I loved that scene because after last episode we saw Elinalise in the post-credit scene. There are people online who were like, guys, they skipped the red dragon fight. This is the worst thing to ever happen. I was like, they're just gonna show it next episode, and then they showed it this episode, and so I'm extremely happy with it.
Revealed.
Whoa. I mean, because this is it's a cool moment because there's been a little bit of a time skip, right? Rudeus is 15 now. He's a proper adult. I really like his design where you can see that he's aged up. You can tell.
Ponytail.
Yeah, he's got his ponytail. You can tell he's aged up. I love the ponytail part of his design. That's a side tangent. And we get to see him fight a red dragon. One of these things. It's been kind of built up, and he solos it. And it's like, okay, this guy is pretty strong. He's used with his tricks, right? He's been an adventurer for 2 years now. Getting to kind of see how he grows. And I think this also really works. This was the intro scene in the web novel originally. After Eris left, there was the time skip. This is where it came in. So this was reintroducing us to Rudeus post-time skip, so it kind of has that feat for him to do. And I think that it works really well, and I was extremely happy with how it was adapted. That just, can't really ask for much better animation than that.
I mean, and my thoughts on it were it's really cool watching a character progress like that because there's like the whole like stronger character mentality and all that that's tangential, but I like seeing Rudeus, this titular character that we've been following for a while, grow and improve to a point where he struggles. He struggled at first against like weaker foes. He still struggles now, I would say, against a lot of other things. But, like the fact that it feels nice seeing him, given what we see later in the episode and the previous episode. It's nice seeing Rudeus take some W's for once and just like actually getting to show off his magic prowess. It was really fun to watch that.
Dubs. That's true.
A couple dubs, and again, animation really good. Like trapping it in the quagmire and then just fucking doming it with a rock. That was funny.
No, I was really happy with it. And another thing that's interesting, I thought this episode they might have switched the voice actor, and they did not. And so I don't know. I would expect that
Rudy?
At least halfway. I would expect that at least halfway through the season. But maybe they just stick with his voice actor. I mean, she's doing well, right? There's nothing against this current voice actor. I
didn't notice anything about it. Like I know the narration of him from his previous life is going to probably remain the same.
Yeah,
but
it will. But yeah. I would expect at some point they change the voice actor. But I mean, the voice actress right now is doing phenomenal. I mentioned that because apparently I saw this on Twitter where like the Mushoku Tensei accounts were following a voice actor that had done a lot of stuff and would probably be voicing an older Rudeus. And he is also the voice of a couple other figures. The relevant one being Baki Hanma, which we just watched Baki. And I was like, that would be hilarious if we get Baki to voice Rudeus.
I would love that. That would be absolutely insane for the memes.
But that's the beginning of the episode, the little dragon fight. And then we get there. He's in the tavern and they're singing the song about him. And they're like, oh, the guys are like, oh, that's lame. Just funny little
They're being disrespectful, which is funny. He was just sitting in there when that happened. And then...
Whoa.
Adult woman fetish kicking in.
That's crazy. Mushoku Tensei fans don't know a lot about that.
No, I'm sorry. You guys don't really know a whole lot about that. I for one, do it, because Yeah. But... we see Elinalise appear, finally, again. And, sits down. So it's like, oh, I found your Rudeus, and then she does the typical Mushoku Tensei fan classic and starts, feeling up a 15-year-old.
Hey, he's an adult. He's an adult now, Kyle.
So I'm sorry. In the context of the world that he's an adult. I've heard the excuses before.
Me when I look at a series based on the context. Get a load of this guy. If a fight's not interesting, he doesn't like it.
Joking aside, it was cool seeing her again.
Yeah. We get Rudeus and Elinalise tells him, the little interactions there, and she's like, she's feeling what you call it, and she pulls out his necklace that was given to him by Sylphie, and she's like, oh, do you have an elf make it for you? He's like, yeah, it was an old friend of mine, and she's like, oh, look, we match it. She pulls out a similar one, so it's like, oh, cool, it's a little thing in elvish culture, and an interesting little detail there, and then she's like,
sorry, go on.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say there was one thing where she's like, "Oh, I wouldn't even want to have sex with you anyway, because like I wouldn't want to be, I wouldn't want to be Paul, like daughter in law or something."
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm like, it's like, Paul, what did you do? Yeah, and so then she's like, "Well, I got good news for you." And so this is where Rudeus learns what we learned at the end of last season, which is Zenith is somewhere in a labyrinth in Rapan, the labyrinth city in the Begari continent. And like Rudeus says, he says, well, it's about a year on foot down there, and he's like, winter's about to be coming, so traveling not really good. And Elinalise was like, you don't have to hurry down there, right? I met up with Roxy and some other old members of Paul's party, and they went ahead to there to go ahead and help him. And she's like, you don't have to hurry down there, right? And so it's just interesting. It's basically catching him up on stuff that we already knew. That I think I'm pretty sure we already knew this at that point in the light novel. I don't think this was new information in the light novels. Maybe in the web novel, but it's been a second since I read the web novel. It's just catching Rudeus up, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then
there's a funny scene.
After that, would you care to explain?
God, we basically get the Elinalise getting railed portion of the episode. I don't know how. I don't know. I don't know how else to word that. I mean, like,
It's
straight
the
up,
portion of the episode. It happens
I mean,
so much.
like, it was really funny because, you know, for those who might not know, Rudeus has been struggling with his ED, and it irritates the shit out of him that, like, he has to sleep near her, and he just has to listen to, like, her having sex. Like, there's just one scene where he's, like, staying outside, like, in the middle of the day, right? He's just, like, talking to her up the window. She's just standing there, as she's assumed, like, like, they didn't show another person, but, like, she's just standing there, like,
No, she's getting railed.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, she's getting railed.
Getting clapped.
In the middle of this, like, casual conversation, she's like, "Oh, and just, like, you know,
yeah, it's hilarious. We were watching it, and she said her first line, and Kyle's like, she's not looking out the window talking to him while getting railed, is she? And I'm like, I don't know. Watching information is revealed. That's crazy.
And then they immediately show that happened. So then, I mean, if I'm missing anything, let me know. But, like, what happens after this is similar, where, like, he just wakes up one morning and Elinalise is with Soldat after they just had sex. And then
apologies, sir. Rudeus is like, hey, yo, don't sweat it. Was it good, though? And he's just like, yeah, it was the best.
And he gets fucking pissed.
The face Rudeus makes then is good, bro.
It's great. And then they go to a bar, and then it's actually, like, reverse prostitution, which was so weird to see, because she basically, like, she has sex, because she just likes having sex, right? Like, she eats that shit up.
She's loves
like,
having sex.
She's like the Grand Central Station of, like, train railing.
She is. That's entirely accurate.
And so she'll like pay people after she's had sex with them to, like, don't get attached. It's so weird, but, like, it's interesting for the world that there are just people like that out there.
Yeah, no, I love Elinalise, dude. She is. I love her.
I love her too.
A lot of other men love her as well.
Funny,
different
really
men every night.
Theoretically,
multiple men at once as well.
Theoretically, multiple men at once while having a conversation.
It's crazy.
But no, she's an interesting character in the world, and she's very funny. So, like,
there were just a ton of fun character interactions this episode.
Oh, they were great. But then I think, like, the next thing that happens, unless I'm forgetting, is she comes in and she's like, "We just got a letter," and then gives him a letter.
Return of Rudeus Gym Rat.
Yeah.
Bro's built it up.
Because, you know, it's been 2 years since like, what point exactly? Like, after he left?
It's been 2 years since Eris left. It's been about a year since the end of last episode, roughly.
Okay. So, yeah. So, he's been with Soldat and them for, like, about a year at this point. So, yeah. And then he gets this letter that Elinalise, you know, got, and it's from... Wait, don't tell me. Genius! Yeah. Magic. I when we were watching it, I said I fucking hate that verbally out loud. When he said, "Hello, I am," with the letter J, Genius from Renoa. I was like, oh my God, really? So Rudeus gets an offer. He's told he's been invited to be a special student at the academy. Doesn't have to worry about tuition or attending classes. They want him there for free to study, like, to help him grow. And Elinalise explains, like, well, they do that. Sorry, it's the old guy that says this. He gets this letter. He wants to make sure it's legit, right? So he takes it to someone that he knows in this town, and the guy explains, like, yeah, I remember there were, like, special
member of Soldat's crew, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, member of Soldat's crew. And he explains to Rudeus that, like, yeah, they do that because if these people ever get popular, like, they get noteworthy people already. And if they become even more popular, like, Renoa gets that, like, renown or attention. So that's why they do that. So it's not a fraud. No one's on fraud watch here. It's legit.
Yeah, it's a legit system. It's an evil thing because it's like, I mean, obviously, you know, you'll get to see more of it, but, you know, as explained here, you know, they invite people in and they can, you know, use their facilities, their libraries, all that kind of stuff, further their research, because, you know, that it's Magic University, it has a lot of resources. And so then, the trade-off of that is, whenever they're popular, it's like, oh, yeah, I studied at the Renoa University of Magic, brings more people. It's an interesting little system.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I wonder if there's any other crazy, kooky special students we're going to meet during our time here.
We'll get there.
Yeah, so
after this, he at first is not. he's not on board. It's not we are so back. It's so over. He just wants to get his family. You know what? And like it's not wrong. He just wants to get his family reunited. That's his priorities right now.
He's like, look, my magic has been stagnating. Like, this is a great offer. He's like, but right now, I need to focus my efforts on reuniting my family. He said, after that, we can see, but I need to, And Elinalise is like, like it wouldn't, he's like, I don't think you need to go help. I think Paul's going to be, fine down there. I think that this is a good opportunity and you should take it. And he's like, are you saying that just because you don't want to see Paul? And she's like, yeah.
they're setting it up like, and I feel like this is going to change. I feel like this is okay. Slight like future prediction. I feel like something's gonna happen to where it's like, oh man, if only I'd been there, and he's gonna blame himself if something happens to Zenith or something during his time at Magic Academy. But anyway, like they're framing it, they're setting up to be like Rudeus. No, oh sorry, a little hiccup. Nothing bad's gonna happen. You just have to. Don't worry about it. You should take this offer. And everyone is trying to tell him to go to school. He's the only one who's like, I don't think I want to. Like, I think I have my priorities straight. My priorities are straightened out. And then he sleeps on it.
Then he sleeps on it. And a certain little critter appears.
And a certain man god appears.
A certain fruity little critter.
A certain goofy man reintroduces.
Bro was kind of busting it down this episode.
He was dancing a lot. So yeah, it'd been like 2 years since he last saw this guy.
The last time Rudeus met Hitogami was whenever he gave him the advice for Aisha and Shirone. It's been
over 2 years. So it had been a hot minute since they've last interacted. And they talk about it, and he's like, oh, I don't really want to go to magic school. And the guy's like, well, I'll tell you this. You shouldn't go to the Labyrinth City because something bad awaits you there. A terrible calamity awaits you there.
He says, if you go there, you'll regret it. So it's kind of interesting that you brought up that little future prediction of yours, because I was like, Hitogami here is basically saying the exact opposite. He's like, if you go, you'll regret it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe. Like it's hard to say, but my prediction is like maybe if he goes and something happens to them on his way, then he'll blame himself for not getting there faster. Because Rudeus would definitely be the type of person to blame himself if he didn't get there fast enough. Like even if there was nothing in his power he realistically could have done while being there, he would still burden himself with that blame. That's what I think at least. Mm-hmm. But so he talks with Hitogami, and Hitogami is like, look, listen, you should go to magic school. Take it, go there, and investigate why the Mana Calamity happened. And then we're just like, and then he's like, the Mana Calamity, and then he goes, hey, he rubs his greasy little hands together and goes, let me sweeten the pot.
Fingers together. And
let me sweeten the pot. If you go, you can fix your ED. Bye-bye. And he starts floating up. And he's like, oh, wait, what? Please.
Wait a second. Whoa, wait. Wait. No.
He is panicking. He's like, wait, I can fix my ED? Because he's like, if you go to school, you'll get back your manhood. And then Rudeus like, no, please wait. And then he gets zonked out of the dream. And then he decides, okay, it's magic school time. It's
okay. It's Berserkin time. Nuts from Berserk.
So then I think after that, at the end of the episode, toward the end, he has a little goodbye with everyone. He's getting ready to leave. He's saying goodbye to like Soldat and all that. And Soldat's being sundry about it. He's being a little tsundere about it. Where he's like, I just mooched off you this whole time, loser. Just you get like a tough guy's goodbye. It was neat seeing that from him. It fit in this character. And he's like, well, maybe we'll have business in Renoa someday, and we can go partying and drinking and whoring again. Hoorah!
Hoorah! Marines.
And it was a little sad seeing them leave, him and Elinalise, seeing them go. But they left, and then
the opening played, and we were like, no way, the episode's starting.
But then after that, they decided to show off a lot of characters, and
they showed a character or two, and I paused at all of them.
I'll let you explain the story of what happened when we were watching.
So, it's kind of panning through the characters. So first we see Cliff. Hi, Cliff. Good to see you again. And we see two other characters. That's like, oh, who are they? And then, kind of processing that. And then we're going towards the next one. And Kyle's like, oh, hey, can you reverse it and pause it real quick? I got a question. I'm like, yeah, sure. But right before I do, we get like a couple of frames of Zenoba just laying himself on the sculpture. I go back and pause it. And Kyle is just silent. I'm like, okay, Kyle, I paused it for you. You good? And I just hear him laughing on the other side. I'm like, dude, I was like, well, what's wrong? I paused it for you. Isn't this what you wanted? It's here, right? These two guys, right?
Yeah, that was really funny. So let's go through the characters, right? You can go through more in order, but the first one I remember is Cliff. I don't think we said this. Did we say this on episode where we talked about it?
We talked about it in the season review.
Yeah. So
check out the Rat's Nest 1 year special, 2.5 hours of us talking about Mushoku Tensei season 1.
There's a lot to say. But yeah, that was my prediction where we met Cliff and I was like, okay, look, this series, unlike IIW TTTPUGIAD, isn't a bad series, right? If it has an OVA with like what, it's gonna be relevant in some way. Like it's not going to waste a moment it can to add more to the world. Remind me, was that in the original novels? What happened with Eris going goblin slaying?
No, that's like an extra chapter.
Yeah.
Volume 5
yeah,
or 6. I'd have to check specifically which volume it is.
They could have made that a whole flashback, but I appreciate that being its own episode, and we got to saw what happened with her, and I was happy. You know, it wasn't like I'm not being like, oh, look at that big brain prediction, because I mean, like, to be fair, I knew about the magic school ahead of time, so that's why I pieced it together. But it was still cool to be like, oh, hey, you know, it's the guy that I said would come back. I feel like he's gonna be like a comedic rival to Rudeus. I don't think he's gonna. I think Bro's gonna cook a little bit, but I think Rudeus is gonna like. He's gonna wash him before he gets clean. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So we get that.
I get what you're saying.
We get that. We get was it the cat and dog person next?
Humana. You know. Yeah, we get the beast people. So Kyle asked me about this. This isn't. It's just connecting two dots. It's back in the Beast Forest. The little I can't remember their names. It's like Nitona and something. That's so true. Eris's little friends. They have older sisters, and they mentioned that they were away at school.
That's also what caught me so off guard with Zenova, where I was just asking that question. I was just trying to ask
Bro
that
is not ready to see Zenova just
like laying it
having the time of his life.
So then next we see Zenova just like caressing, like just basically rubbing his face against the sculpture's ass. I don't know how else to put that more delicately. Like,
hi Zenova, good to see you again. Up to his old
and
antics.
After that, we see like some 6-armed guy. He looked cool.
Well, there's a character in between that I can't say anymore on.
Oh, it was like the woman, right, in the room of the school.
There was in fact a woman in a room in a school.
So there was that.
I can't remember when they show up, but we got to see I think it was between Zenova and the woman. We got to see Ariel, Luke, and Fitz, and then some miscellaneous background characters that were all normal. And then you didn't point any one of them out.
They were all normal. There was someone with
they were just all very attractive women back there. I don't
looked
know
like an actual like animal face with like pigtails.
No, it's normal. They're just normal.
And then they showed
girls, dude. What do you?
They showed like a 6-armed person as well.
There was in fact a big 6-armed person at the end.
Is there anyone I'm missing? Because
that was everyone, I believe. If I'm missing anyone, I'm a fake fan. And as we've established multiple times, I am in fact a fake fan.
You're not a real Mushoku Tensei fan unless you can name the amount of times Elise Lane has been railed throughout the entire series.
It's far too many.
But yeah. That was the episode, and again, I agree with that take that you said earlier. This felt like one of the most Mushoku Tensei episodes possible. I mean, like it had interesting character dynamics. It had like funny like bits. It had like the natural gatekeeping sex stuff. That's it's not Mushoku Tensei without it.
That's true. I mean, like I said, I loved this episode. I was extremely happy with it. I am so happy to get into Renoa, and seeing all those characters at the end, I was like, dude, they're freaking.
Well, you're not getting into it. Rudeus is getting admitted into it. You're not getting admitted.
Well, Rudeus isn't getting into anywhere. He can't get it up. he's not getting into anything.
Dude, that's the fact that his entire the main I'd say the primary or secondary motivator for going to med school is to fix his ED. Absolutely wild.
Dude, it's the erectile dysfunction arc. What can I say?
I mean, it basically is right now. That's why he's going there primarily to fix that. And let me tell you, Brandon, I know that you've mentioned spoilers for anime onlys watching this. Cover your ears for like 10 seconds. Turning Point 3 happens in like the middle of this season, and that like the second half is going to be about cleaning it up. But like
That's not strictly true timing wise, but you have the general idea.
I have the gist of it, yeah.
Turning Point 3 is the next turning point that's going to happen after Turning Point 2.
I would hope so. I hope I know how to count.
No, we're just skipping straight to 4. What?
You said 4 is like peak fiction, but we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Maybe I'll read the novels. Who knows? But anyway, right now, what was I gonna say? Yeah. Here's what I predict will happen.
Okay.
I feel like it's Mushoku Tensei has dipped its toes into some general normal type writing, not in a bad way, but like whenever it was just like the normal questing when they were on the demon continent, like I feel like we're gonna get some pretty standard school trope stuff, and not again, I like the magic school trope stuff. I like it when it's done well, and I have confidence in Mushoku Tensei's like writing and characters that it's I feel like I'm not gonna be disappointed. Like I'm envisioning a moment where it's like he's talking to Cliff in the hallway, and Cliff's like, "Look at my giant magic fire attack that I'm gonna fucking annihilate you with Rudeus." Rudeus is like just barely waves his wand and makes something that's like 20 times bigger, and it was like, "Oh my god!" And he just like washes this dude out the window.
Rudeus
I feel like
pulls his dick out, and he's just like, "It was this big."
No, he can't.
He can pull it out. He can't get it up. Wouldn't it be impressive? It wouldn't be impressive.
It would not be, no. But I feel like we're gonna get a moment like that where he's just gonna like blow that dude away with like water magic. He's just gonna like knock him out the window or something. Some big flashy thing that Rudeus, in typical Rudeus fashion. I feel like Eris is gonna show up at a pivotal moment, and I'm just gonna like pog my brains out when that happens because it's Eris. Eris is cool. I cannot wait to see Orsted show up and be like, Turning Point 3, and then he just says okay, and then he destroys like people. I don't know. That's gonna be great. But I feel like Turning Point 3 realistically is gonna be related to Turning Point 2 somehow. Maybe you guys could be laughing your asses off in your little heads right now who know what's gonna happen. That's my prediction. I feel like it's gonna relate in some way. Maybe Rudeus accidentally causes Turning Point 3 at the magic school. He's just like doing stuff. He's like, oh no. He's the next Oppenheimer.
He is, dude. No,
I don't know. I could be completely wrong or completely right, but that's my prediction, and I'm excited to see where this goes. I am looking forward to seeing Rudeus in the school arc.
I can't wait to see how everything is adapted. I am positively thrilled. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Looking forward to all of it.
I'm very excited too.
Well, if you're this far in the episode, then obviously there's something you like. So make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us what your favorite part of the episode was, or any other little funny comment, jokes, whatever you guys want to make. Thank you all for watching. We hope you all enjoyed. We will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.